Hey everybody, how's it going? So I'm here in sunny Miami, Florida, and you're probably in sunny New Jersey and or wherever. I'm not just New Jersey, but anyway, and there's Miami right now. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, some of it. But anyway, on the Biscayne Bay, son's getting married on Saturday, so I appreciate the well wishes and all that stuff. If I've been a little cranky the last couple of days on some of your grading, I apologize. I just try to be straightforward and everything. But at the same time, I also have not had a lot of sleep. So um, anyway, I had a whole situation. My son thought he lost his passport, and we had to report it, and I had to get a new one, and all this stuff. So he could go on his honeymoon. Anyway, so we don't have a lot left. Just right off the bat, just a reminder that next week, obviously, we have the July 4th holiday on Monday. So I will actually release a video on on um, on Tuesday, okay, and then I will release one for the last day on the 7th. Probably won't have much to say for that one other than just, but that is actually the day that the final assignment is due. And I appreciate that some of you actually already have, and you should be doing this. Let me just say that off the top. You should be actually basically sending me rough drafts as soon as you can. Some of you have done that already, and some of you have already kind of signed off and said, that's an A, and just told you to submit it. So that's great. I'll even show you one actually. All topics have been approved. And I appreciate that. I really appreciate the work of the class overall. Again, working on this expedited schedule wasn't easy, but I feel like, you guys just came out as strong as any other classes I've had, maybe even stronger. So try to keep up with the grading as fast as possible. So that's been one thing. If you've seen me like send you stuff in at 11:30 at night, it's because I just, I just want to make sure you get it and you have plenty of time afterward. And all right. All right, so let's like share the screen a little bit. What I'm going to do is actually I'll talk about three things really. Again, we do have a few things that are due still. Obviously, the major assignment is due on July 7th, which is less than a week away. I'm actually recording this on June 30th, so you'll be seeing this on Friday, July 1st. So this is actually from Nicole, and basically, there's really nothing big. There's really not a big difference other than length to the major assignment. The idea here was, and you guys had pretty much good ideas all around. A couple of them were like the same as other people's, but it didn't matter to me. I just approved them anyway. But like reaction stories to the stuff that's actually going on. And here Nicole had the gas prices, and basically getting the Jersey residents who have been feeling the pinch for certain. And basically just a straight lead. Some of the Jersey residents are worried about the increase in gas prices, while others feel it may lead to a positive change in commuters' transportation choices. I found it amazing. She found people who would actually go both sides on that issue. I would just expect people to kind of just say, this sucks. But you just never really expect what your how your reporting may go sometimes, right? So she, I would try to like avoid like I've been telling people like just make sure you emphasize, I let this go pretty much, but without going into too much background, but in some cases, but you just want to make sure that you're really focusing on what I've told you to focus on. And that is in this particular case, not just the whole issue, but the residents' reaction to it. That's the gas price has been high for a while. That's not new news. What's news is how people are reacting, perhaps, or this slice of this certain group of people that we're interviewing. Okay, the gas prices in New Jersey have almost reached. Actually, I think they almost reached $5 per gallon. Many residents feel it will continue to rise. So that's the first point being made here. That basically, the big problem with the gas prices is they don't expect that they're hit the ceiling yet. So that's your first transition right there. Terrence Joan, a resident of New Jersey, said he is worried that gas prices will keep rising and fears that he will not be able to afford gas prices and be forced to find alternative in driving. So this is your anecdote, right here. This gets into the nitty gritty of somebody's life, how they're impacted. This actually makes the story relatable, okay? He does not want to change his lifestyle, but gas prices are forcing him to. And then you got your quote, which is like trying to be supposed to be simple and easy and breezy. I am starting to really worry about these gas prices. They just keep, this should be a period. They just keep rising and it's taking a toll on my finances that I not planned for. It just keeps going up. I'll be in trouble. That should have a period too. And we have another transition. Other residents fear that the minimum wage jobs do not pay enough for them to spend money on gas. Yeah, I mean, it's just, that's always been a big problem. And it's a good point to bring out. The residents were making this point. It's a good point to make out. And that is, wages haven't really kept up with inflation ever. So Stacy Harm, a resident of New Jersey, said she is only making $13.50 at a minimum wage job. And buying gas for a car takes a large chunk of money out of her paycheck. Again, real life experience. This is a good anecdote. She said it is hard to keep up with the cost of living and paying for gas when she's making such a little amount of money. And again, I mean, we're kind of following the same flow as before. It's just that we're trying to get just more people into the story, okay? And, with these, I'm approving these issues because they're meatier, and they're the kind of thing that like, you're not necessarily going to get like one pro and one con. You might actually get like what they call shades of gray on this issue. So then you should actually interview more people and get multiple perspectives. You may have people who basically feel halfway about it or 3/4 of the way about it or whatever, or they just have like a different perspective to provide on it. So that's kind of the whole idea of doing this story, is to have more depth in your story, give you the opportunity to put more depth in your story than what you're accustomed to. Okay. All right. Also, we just had the let me just switch gears now. We just had the, and I'm showing you Christina did a good job on this. I showed you guys the tape. I was hoping that would actually help with a rewrite of the Dennis Kozlowski, the guy who inspired Marv Bronson in the story here, former CEO of Tyco. But anyway, I was actually really quite pleased with the work on this story overall. It was probably definitely our hardest assignment of the semester, no doubt. But there was still some issues I had to like basically be straight with. Okay. This was actually an excellent paper here from Christina. If you really want to look at how it should have been done. Marv Bronson, the co-founder of Megalomania Media, resigned after violating the company's code of conduct. This was a big thing right here. People, I had people who said like was asked to resign. They would write that, but that's not the whole story. So he was asked to resign. Then what did he do? Did he refuse? Did he quit? So that actually, if you didn't have that in your lead, basically, I think it was like 9.9 times out of 10. Yeah, the rest of the story had to be really strong, like this strong, for me to actually like excuse that. That was example in one case, but otherwise, if you did that, if you didn't have the whole story that he quit, that he resigned, that's what caused the change. I mean, he could be asked to resign, but there's no change happening as a result of that. And if he's asked to resign and refuses, then actually a whole different thing happens. He gets fired. Some of you had that too, by the way. That was actually, that I consider an even bigger error. Okay. He was not fired. Okay. He was forced out, but it's not the same as being fired. Fired is like, in case you just want to know what the difference is, if you haven't experienced this already. But I mean, you're liable for so much more when you fire somebody. I mean, like, a lot of times you're actually, especially when you deal with downsizing and stuff like that, you have to deal with things like, or the company has to do things like provide severance pay. You could be exposed to liability issues where you actually get sued for it. That's a big deal. But when the person quits, they kind of give up all rights to that. They might still get severance pay or something like that. The company's nice, especially, in bad economic times, but it's a big difference. Okay. And one of the big things is the legal ramifications. If somebody gets fired, they usually, many times they, blame the company and take it out on them, and it becomes like a whole big freaking deal. Okay. All right. So these expenses right here, this was a big deal. Some of you came up short on the expenses. I mean, probably the worst of these was the dog fighting, I would say. I mean, not just being an animal over here, but my God, I mean, really? He actually had dog fighting at this thing. This is like a CEO of a company. I mean, this is why it was so expensive. Just, I mean, it's so important just to have like a healthy list of expenses. Didn't have to be a list every single expense, but maybe like 2 paragraphs like here, I mean, yeah, I mean, $336,000 for wine and spirits is incredible. Celine Dion, Justin Bieber, all that stuff. But then like you got the grape peelers, the statue of peace vodka, ew, dog fighting. I mean, some of you had just basically saying that he like chartered a plane with 140 guests and that was it. But that wasn't everything. I mean, actually, you're still not really like getting into the whole revolting, disgusting matter of it, which is what makes this a bigger story. It makes this more than just a story about, you know, uh, somebody leaving, all right. And some of you, what I was saying basically is that like the whole restructuring thing, just it didn't need to be removed from the story. It just needed to go down. Okay. It needed to like go lower in the story. So the people who actually really give a crap about, all this stuff, they get a chance to read it in depth. All those business people I talked about that actually like are totally interested in everything beyond the grape peelers and the statute of peas vodka. Okay. All right. So that was the Megalomania story. You all should have gone back your rewrites. Almost everybody did one. So if again, you got an opportunity to go for a higher grade if you didn't do it before. So, all right. Actually, I got to tell you that Corinne, this is the feature assignment. And again, the rewrite for this is due on the 5th. So that's due actually on Tuesday. Everybody should have gotten that back. And I don't know, I must have been tired or something. For some of you, I sent back, I actually accidentally sent back 2 major assignment proposals and forgot to send you back the feature assignment or something. Sorry about that. So just make sure you check to see you got the feature assignment back. Okay. Like I said, I must have been tired or jumping into one plane to the next and trying to do stuff and lost track of stuff. So, but this is a good job on this one. Some of you asked me about, some of you asked me about this. If you have because we actually, don't forget, we have a discussion point for this. And there was like people, I guess, like maybe sisters or something like that or whatever, but people with the same last name. So what you do on the second reference, usually in that kind of cases, you actually put the person's full name. Okay. But I think some of you actually like got into the whole spirit of being colorful and featurey here, and you used like first names, it's still not first names. It's still last names on second reference and future reference. Okay. I should tell you that I was really pleased with this. This was probably your best work of the semester. Corinne, our TA, was really impressed with everything here, and you should have gotten back all of those too, all her markups. She's also going to do the markups on the finals after that's probably going to help me actually, like when I actually grade them. But she's going to actually, I know I've already told some people they got A's, but I mean, she's going to do markups anyway, just for your own edification. Okay. But here we go. We start with a story. Okay. Basically looking at one person's situation and basically kind of like starting with one person, we're able to kind of really dig into that person's situation more than we would with a group of people. And we can do getting in like an anecdote, you get into something relatable, something personal, something that actually people can connect to. Okay. And about the weather. So Sean Murphy, a Rutgers student, said that the recent weather in New Jersey has been pretty nice because he loves to go on the morning walks without having to wear a sweater or sweatpants. Okay. So that's something relatable. It's actually starting to get hot now. So the whole feeling of like the up and down weather now is actually starting to change, right? He enjoys the warmer weather because being able to get up early before the sun goes up and see the sun he enjoys being able to get up early and seeing without being freezing cold. He loves the longer summer days. Again, all personal, interesting stuff. Okay. He also likes being able to go out to parties, blah, blah, blah. This is actually a kind of a mixed opinion story. So, what she did was that he basically started with, the person that kind of likes it. So you have like Rutgers. So this is actually really just like one nut graph here. I mean, I could have like done this a bit picky and put them both together, but basically you have a mixed opinion story over here. Okay. Rutgers students are saying that despite not having air conditioning during the hotter days, they love being able to wear their summer clothes and show off their bodies. They've been working for so long. Other students hate this time of year, need to head back home, prefer to be in New Brunswick. Okay. So this is what some of you left out, the nut graph. This is, again, if you look at the screen right now, this could actually be the story, right? without this top right here, okay? Basically, this could be the lead, all right? But what you're doing here, again, this is the idea here is that you're actually, this is for people, again, have more time to read, want to be more engaged. There's an audience out there for that, okay? That's the magazine readers. There's still some of them left. So the idea is to really kind of connect with people and engage them. This is actually what they call engagement, again, to try to like keep them on the story from top to bottom, okay? And then, but there's got to be a point early on where where people are saying, what the hell is this story about? And that's when that's basically the nut graph to kind of anchor that, basically identify what the story is about, okay? And then you basically return to the transitions and the anecdotes that I talked about before, okay? Providing color, you know. Xavier Rivas, a senior at Rutgers Business School, said that having to go home in summer can sometimes be annoying because he would prefer zones. Since he moved out, his old room is blah, blah, blah. So, you know, that's one reason why people don't like the summer, because they have to leave for New Brunswick. Other people like going to the beach, you know, that sort of thing, okay? So like I said, it follows a very similar pattern we've grown accustomed to, okay? All right, so again, let's look at what's due, okay? Let me actually go to the student mode, okay? So like I said, there's no reading left to do. That's good. Okay. All right. That's the overdue stuff. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So that's all we have left. We have the rewrite to the feature assignment, which is due on Tuesday, July 5th, and the actual major assignment, which is due on July 7th. Okay. At the end of the day. And again, but big important note about that. And that is like basically, you really, really, really should actually send me a draft ahead of time, okay? Let me reemphasize that. You really, really should send me a draft ahead of time, okay? Because there's no rewrite on this story, all right? So try to make sure you do that, okay? Something, even like if you're trying to figure out how to start it, or you're trying to figure out a top or something like that, you know? Send me that, okay? You can send multiple times, that's fine too, okay? Like I said, I got a wedding coming up on Saturday, so I might not be like immediately responsive to things. So, excuse me. So just, you know, I'll do my best to get right back to you as soon as possible. All right, guys. That's all I have for today. So let me know if you have any questions. Okay, email me. All right. Thanks very much.